What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 8. Today we're going to be talking about the Combine. And this is going to be sort of a long video, probably sort of a long video. We're talking about who I think really stood out to me, everyone who really met the expectations, some people who didn't meet the expectations, and people I think we should draft. I don't know if I said that or not, but that's what we're going to be talking about today is the Combine. And I'm going to try my best to get the clips of everyone I talk about. If I can't find the clips, then I apologize. But yeah, let's get into the video. So the first person I want to talk about is, I think I might pronounce his name horribly wrong, and I apologize. But it's Ladd McConkey. I think that's how you say that, because it has a K in it and everything. But he's from Georgia. He's a wide receiver. He's 6 foot. He ran a 4.39 40-yard dash, which that's pretty fast to me. This year, he had 30 receptions, 478 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2022, he had 58 receptions, 762 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And then 2021, he had 31 receptions, 450 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And from watching what how he plays, he's really fast. I think he runs the routes really well. His combine looked pretty good. I didn't really see any flaws in him, to be honest. He's a fast wide receiver. He can catch. He has good footwork. I think he looks like a great wide receiver that could help Bryce Young. And I think it'd go along great with Adam Thielen, and then you put Ladd in there, and then you have Mingo or maybe Terrence Marshall in there. But I don't really know about that whole Marshall situation. I kind of think we should cut Marshall so we can get some more money. But that's just me. But yeah, Ladd, he looks great to me. Like I said, he's really fast. He's a really fast guy. And he's strong too. He can power through people, which is just insane for his size. He's a 6 foot 180. After each reception, he averages 15 yards. So that just looks great to me. He looks great all around. I don't know if I said this, but he does play for Georgia. He's a junior this year. Yeah, he looks great. From the combine to the stats on the field, I think he looks like a great player. He really performed well too in the combine. I don't know if I can get any more of his other combine stats, but I know he ran a 4.39. And I did watch the drill where you run, when you run in a straight line and then you catch the balls. I watched that one. He didn't drop a single one, and he ran pretty good. He was going pretty fast too. But Ladd, he looks like a great receiver. So he looks like he has a lot of potential at receiver. I think he could help Bryce Young a lot with creating separation, getting open for someone, or getting open for Bryce when he needs it. And I hope he falls down to the second round at least. Because there's been a couple receivers that we were looking at, and they just didn't they were going to perform well. One of them being Keon Coleman, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But because his combine did not look very good. He just didn't. He kind of underperformed on how I expected it. But yeah, other than that, I think Ladd, he didn't. Hold on, let's check his fumbles real quick. He didn't have any fumbles this year, or at all. He didn't have a single fumble his whole college career. Wow, look at that. His rushing, he has 1 rushing for 27 yards and a touchdown. I think he's great. He's really fast. I know I've said this over and over again, but he's really fast, and he has strength to him. There's a clip against FSU where he's caught the ball, and I'm going to try and put that in. He caught the ball. The clip might be either before this, I say this, or after I say this, but he caught the ball, and he just completely – there's a dude trying to tackle him. He just drugged him with him. Just completely didn't – it acted like there was not even a guy trying to tackle him. Which for being 6 foot and 180, I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I've said over and over again, he's really fast. I think he looks great. Averaging 15.9 yards after a carry or after each reception is, that's pretty good to me. Last year he had a great year, 700, almost 800 yards receiving, only 58 receptions and 7 touchdowns. His longest completion was 70. So that just means that, he can beat anybody. Uh, but this year and last year, he averaged 19 yards after a carry. And the only reason why that got brought down is because 2021, he only averaged 11 yards. But still, 11 yards after each reception, I think that's pretty good. But now he bumped it up to 19, so he's almost getting 20 yards per reception. And that just proves, first of all, that proves how fast he is, that he can get open, and that he can create separation and get the catch, and he can create more yards. Like, that's all I need to see. He's really great with his footwork and everything. I know I've repeated myself over and over again, but Ladd looks like a great wide receiver to help Bryce. He's really speedy, and I think he'd go great with Bryce. I'm pretty sure he did say, he was asked a question about the Panthers, and he said he would love to go to a place with a young quarterback. So, hey, that sounds great to me. Now, let's talk about Keon Coleman. So, Keon, before I say anything, I want to say this. A combine does not define a person, does not define the player. You've seen it plenty before. You've seen Tom Brady's combine. You've seen other players' combines and see how they've turned out. Keon's combine was kind of iffy. He kind of underwhelmed a lot of us. But then when you think about it, when you look at him play at FSU last year and this year, he can definitely be an NFL receiver. He's tall, he's strong, he's 6'4", 215. He reminds me of Mike Evans. He reminds me a lot of Mike Evans. And he might not have got top 10 in the 40-yard dash, but that does not mean he's not fast. I think you're like a 4.4, 4.5, something like that. I mean, it's not the fastest for a receiver, but dude, that's pretty fast. That's faster than like a lot of people can run, And to add on his height. But I do like Ladd. The thing about Ladd is he is smaller, but he's so fast. I feel like he can run those fast vertical routes, those fast slant routes, really create separation easily. Ladd has a lot of good footwork, and so does Keon. Keon has some good footwork, and he has some good route running. But Keon is he didn't get top 10 in anything besides the broad jump. And Ladd got top 10, I think, in 3 or 4 different things. But Keon, like I've already said, like you can't define him off combine. This year for the FSU, he had 50 receptions, 660 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And then last year he had 58 receptions, 800 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Keon, he's when you need someone to throw it to, you can rely on Keon. He's always open. It seems like, like I already said before, he reminds me of Mike Evans. But I'm not gonna sit here and just bash him because of his combine. Because as a player, he's a really good player. And I like the combine. Yeah, a combine. You can have a bad combine. It's not gonna completely destroy the player. Yeah, his draft stock might go down, but he's still gonna be a great player for somebody. But like I've already said, he's a great player. I don't know what else to say. He's tall and he's big and he's pretty fast. He can jump high. You saw his vertical. Yeah, I think he'd be great for Bryce Young. When Bryce Young's getting pressured or Bryce Young needs to make a play, he can just throw it up to Keon. Keon can jump up there and get it. But that's all I have to say about Keon. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself over and over again about him, but you just can't really bash him over one bad combine. I think he's like FSU. You saw him at FSU. He was an outstanding player at FSU. And he also has 0 fumbles his whole college career. You give it to him, he's making a play. It's that simple. He has 13 yards after each reception. That's outstanding too. A little less than Ladd, but Ladd, it's hard to catch Ladd when he's that fast. But Keon's also pretty big, so he's able to kind of truck through. And he's got strength with him. He's also a junior too, by the way, if you wanted to know. But yeah, that's about it for Keon. And let's talk about Jaquan Jackson. I think that's how you say that. So, like I said, I want to talk about Jaquan Jackson. He's the last receiver we're going to be talking about. And there were some other receivers I did want to talk about, but after the combine, their draft stock definitely went up. Like Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, those guys, they definitely went up. I don't think they'll drop down to second round, but those are a couple guys I did want to talk about, but I don't think there's really a point of talking about them if it's not going to be realistic of us getting them. It might be realistic of us getting Troy Franklin, maybe, but I don't know. I see him going up some more in his draft stock, so we're just gonna see what happens with that. But Jaquan Jackson, was his 5th year this year. He's kind of like Ladd. He's a lot like Ladd. He's short. He's fast. He's really shifty. He's got good footwork too. He's 5'11", 185. I think that's more than Ladd. Weighs more than Ladd, but he is an inch shorter than Ladd. But yeah, he had 5 years in college. 2023 had 26 receptions, 439 yards, and 4 touchdowns. 2022 he had 33 receptions, 554 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2021 he had 17 receptions, 294 yards, 17 yards average, and 1 touchdown. 2020 he had 31 receptions, 425, and then 8 touchdowns. And then 2019 he had 2 receptions, 1 touchdown, and 31 yards. Which is not the best stat line, but I mean, like, I don't think he got really thrown to a lot. But he does average 16.9 yards after each reception, which is more than both receivers we've already talked about. So I think that's pretty good in my opinion. He can make plays after catching the ball. As you can see, he's also pretty fast. I'm pretty sure he ran a 4.4 something. I'm pretty sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, dude, Jaquan Jackson, he looks like he has a lot of potential. His combine was pretty good. I'm pretty sure he was top 10 on 40-yard dash. I think he was top 10 on vertical too. For being short, he has a pretty high vertical, which is, pretty good. I think he was also never mind. I thought he was a punt returner at first, but he's a punt returner. All right, yeah, he's a punt returner. I think that's what he really was like specialized in, was a punt returner, because he isn't really like a wide receiver one with these stats. But I might be wrong. But he is a good punt returner. He returned a 90-yard touchdown, or 90-yard punt for a touchdown. Yeah, he looks pretty good. He's pretty fast. He is short though. That's kind of like the only iffy thing. But at the same time, it's only 5'11", but usually with the shorter guys, they're a lot more shifty. They're obviously have a lot more speed, as you can tell. But obviously with the shorter guys, they are way less. They're not as strong and everything. That's the thing about Keon. Keon's tall and strong. You can throw it up to him. He's going to catch it. He can go through people. He can make plays. As you saw in some of those clips, he was hurdling people. He was jigging people out. Keon's a great player. It's just his combine didn't do very good. His combine didn't really go to the expectations people thought. But, yeah, Jaquan Jackson, I would have a problem with drafting Jaquan Jackson. He doesn't look terrible. I would obviously prefer either Ladd or Jaquan Jackson. Honestly, I think Ladd might even not drop down to the second round. But Keon Coleman, I'm fine if we get Keon Coleman. Seeing him play at FSU, he looked amazing. So I'm fine with it. But Jaquan Jackson, he definitely, I feel like, will be a second rounder. But I definitely want to pick up a wide receiver first in the second round, so we get a good wide receiver and then start drafting linemen, and then maybe even a corner since we're cutting Dante. But I just want to say this one more time again, that Jaquan Jackson is fast. His game speed is insane. He has a good release. He can get off that ball. He is a fast guy. And honestly, he like I say, it reminds me a lot of Ladd. He's really fast, dude. I would not mind. I know I said earlier I'd prefer Keon, but if it was to come down to it and we got Jaquan Jackson, I wouldn't mind that either. All these guys I'm listing off, I wouldn't care if we got. All right, I wouldn't care. They all have like really good. Their film looks really good. They all have positives to them, and some of them have negatives. But everyone's gonna have a negative to them. But they all have good positives to them. Like Jaquan Jackson kind of had a bad quarterback at his college, and he was kind of underthrown a lot. If you watch the film, so I think Jaquan Jackson, he can be really good. He's a really fast guy. But yeah, let's talk about O-lineman now. All right, so the first lineman I want to talk about is Tanner Bortoloni. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that. But his combine was outstanding. He ran a 4.9 40-yard dash, 39-inch vertical, 9 feet broad jump, and a 4.28 second shuttle, and a 7.1 second three cone drill, which is really impressive for an offensive lineman. He's 6'4". Let me get his weight. 6'4", 310 pounds. Running a 4.9 40-yard dash is not bad at all. I don't know if he would drop down to the third round. But I would love to see this guy's an interior offensive lineman. He has power. He has a great run support. He looks like a great lineman. I feel like if Bradley Christine doesn't come back, or if he gets injured again, then Tanner could be a great backup to this. He looks like he could be in the NFL. That combine looked amazing. His film looks really good. He might have shot him up way more than what he was projected. Hopefully he can drop down to the third round, because I would love to get Tanner. Or maybe we could, if we trade Brian Burns, we get 2 first-round picks. Oh, no, we franchise tag Brian Burns. And then if anyone signs Brian Burns, then we get 2 first-round picks. So if we get those 2 first-round picks, we can get a receiver and a lineman, or 2 receivers, and then second round we get a lineman. We can do a lot of things with these picks, But I think Tanner would be a great interior offensive lineman. He looks great, I know I said a combine doesn't define a player, and he had a great combine, but you can look at his film, and his film speaks for itself. He looks great, I can't stop talking about how good this guy looks. He is, like I said, power. His run support is good. He has good strength. He's even good on pass protection. I would not mind us drafting Tanner at all. He is definitely probably one of the top linemen in this draft. So I don't know if we'll be able to get our hands on him, but if we do, I'd be really happy, because that'll be a huge upgrade to this offensive line. But yeah, Tanner looks great. He looks amazing. I hope we're able to pull him. We're able to get him. But there are some other linemen that I am looking at that also look pretty good. I also just want to say that I would not mind Tanner starting right off the bat. He looks like he's ready for the NFL. I'm 100% okay with us starting Tanner at center. He looks like you've seen the film. He looks great. But yeah, let's talk about some more offensive linemen. So the next guy we're going to be talking about is Kingsley Sumatea. I think it's Sumatea. I'm pretty sure it's Sumatea. But this guy, I love this dude. I know I've said that about everybody, and you're going to sit there in the comments and say, oh, everyone's great. You think everyone's great. You don't talk bad about anybody. If I wanted to talk bad about him, then I wouldn't put him in the video. The whole point of the video is these are the people I think will help our team. These are the people I want on our team. Why would I put people in the video that I don't like and that I don't think are good? So obviously I'm talking about good about everybody, and I think everybody in this video is great. There's obviously not everybody in the draft is great. There's plenty of people I can name off that are either be bust or just aren't good in my eyes. But Kingsley he's a sophomore, and the fact he's a sophomore declaring for the draft to show you how good he is. He's 6'5", 326 pounds. He's huge. He's an offensive tackle, which, we already have 2 tackles, but we can always draft somebody and move positions. That's always a possibility. He ran almost a 5 flat 40-yard dash, 28-inch vertical jump, 9 feet broad jump, and 31 reps on the bench press. This guy's a powerhouse. He's strong. He's very versatile with his run blocking and his pass blocking, but he's way stronger in pass blocking. That's his main attribute, is pass blocking, which is what we need. We need someone to defend Bryce Young in the pass. And I think this guy could obviously be really good. And I think whoever he gets drafted to, he's going to be a great asset to that team. People all over are saying he's a special talent, which I completely agree. This guy's a special talent. Him and Tanner both are 2 very versatile linemen who are really good, in my opinion. And hopefully we can land at least one of these guys. His production on the field is insane. As you can see in the clips, he has a really good kick step. That power, he can defend the fast ends. He can defend the strong ends. He can do it all, I really hope we can get either Tanner or Kingsley. These are the 2 linemen on the top of my list that I want to get. Now, there's one thing about Kingsley, and is that when he does, I know I said his kick step was probably his best thing, but he does struggle with it a little bit. And he gets flat-footed when he does it. He, struggles a little bit. He just gets a little bit flat-footed, and he doesn't stay on his toes ready for anything. But other than that, I think he's pretty good, in my opinion. That's the only thing he really struggles with is like getting flat-footed and sometimes reading the blitz. But other than that, I've seen green flags from that. But that's the only thing I see that's really the weakness about him. So this next guy is a DB because I figured we should put a DB in here just releasing Dante Jackson, and we'll need someone to fill that spot from Dante. So it's Kalen Carson, and he's amazing at man coverage. Well, I wouldn't say amazing, but he's pretty good at man coverage. They call him the walking seatbelt. That's literally his name is the walking seatbelt. I think he had like 49 tackles total this year, 0 interceptions. But the only reason why he doesn't have interceptions is because they never throw to his side. And when they do, he either deflects it or is just incomplete because the quarterback is too worried about Kalen getting up there and intercepting it. Kalen is, like I said, he's like really good at man coverage. He does struggle a tad bit in zone, but man coverage, dude, you're getting locked up if you're going one-on-one with him. He's really fast. He's got speed on him. His reaction time is good. He's quick on his feet. I don't know if he's going to drop down like as much as I think he's going to be, because I think he's definitely going to be at least round 2, round 3, maybe round 4. But I don't expect us drafting a DB in a high pick. I expect us drafting like a DB probably like 5th round or something like that, probably, which I doubt he'll even be there in 5th round. But if he does somehow get to the 5th round, I think Kalen Carson will be a great pick to fill Dante's spot. He's, like I said, his nickname is literally the walking seatbelt. He's the way he can like just track down somebody and just stick with somebody is crazy. Like he's just with them, he's on top of them the whole way. But yeah, there's not too much to say about him. I think it'll be a great addition to Phil Dante. And one more thing I forgot to mention about Kalen is his tackling is really good. He has the way he's able just to read the way the ball carrier is going and the speed he has on him to catch up to the ball carriers. He's a great like coverage for running, you know what I mean? But not as like good for coverage as passing. But yeah, he's a great tackler. You're gonna see that in this video. Most of his highlights are just tackles because he doesn't really have any like one-on-one highlights. Because I mean, like they would hardly throw to his side, you know. I mean, which is understandable when you have someone who's keeping up and someone who can't get open. There's no point to throw to that side when someone's on top of him. But his tackling is really good, and you're gonna see that. And I just wanted to add that in there. So last person I'm gonna talk about is Xavier Thomas, and he's an edge rusher. He plays for Clemson. Now, the only reason why I'm putting him in here is because the whole situation with Brian Burns and if we trade Burns or not, and if we do trade Burns, then I probably see us drafting an edge because we need someone to fill that spot. And, we have Gross Mateos, but, I think we draft somebody probably round 6 or obviously a late round. We're not going to spend a top round pick on an edge rusher, but I do see us hopefully maybe drafting an edge if we trade Brian Burns. That's if we trade Brian Burns. If we trade Brian Burns, I see us picking up an edge rusher. But other than that, he has like, I think it's 3. He averages 3 sacks every year, which is not terrible. He's been playing since 2018 in college. They get an extra year because of COVID year and all that stuff. But his numbers are pretty decent. They're not the best numbers I've seen, but he's one of the best edges in the combine from what I've seen. So, and he's probably one of the edges that I'll see dropping down to a late round. So he's not the best, but he's also not the worst, But that's who I think those are some top draft prospects I think the Panthers should go with. So there's some of the guys that I've seen excel throughout the years, and their combine looked pretty good. So, yeah. And again, I just want to state that, of course, I'm going to talk good about everybody because that's the whole point of this video is people I like, people I think could perform good on our team, So I'm not going to sit here and bash these people and say they suck. So obviously I'm going to say that every single one of these guys are good and talk good about them and kind of talk the same about them. So to put that out there, that the whole reason of this video is the people I think will fit our scheme, the people I think that will help us the most, and the people I like the most, who I think performed well. Just want to get that out there again. But, that's it for the video. Again, these are my top draft prospects that I think the Panthers should look into more, that I think we should possibly draft. And yeah. So one more thing about Xavier Thomas is his speed is insane. And you can tell off his clips the way he can just get off the line. His get off is amazing. He's can fly right by the tackles. He's a lot of speed. You can see he can track down the quarterbacks trying to scramble. Even some running backs he can track down. I know I said earlier he's probably one of the top edge rushers. I don't want to give him that title because like he has some pretty good highlights, but and he also had like a decent combine. But I don't know if he's a like top rusher. You know what I mean? I know I gave him that title earlier, but I don't know if I want to give him that. Like he's pretty mediocre. You know, he can make a play when he needs to, but he's not gonna be like that guy who's like constantly feared. You know, like it's hard to like. I don't know how I'm trying to explain. Like kind of like Brian Burns with us. You know, like he's not like a Brian Burns. You know, it's kind of like a Gross Mateos putting in that perspective. Like he can make plays, he can be there when he needs to be there. He can fill the holes on the offensive line, but he's not like a huge star player. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say here. Is like he's like a role player. So I wouldn't give him like a top edge rusher title. I'd give him like he's not the worst and he's not the best. He's in between, you know, and that's why I think he's gonna fall down a couple draft picks. Probably I would say like 4th round, 5th round, somewhere there, maybe even 6th round. But I do not see us drafting him using a 2nd round or a 3rd round, or probably not even a 4th round. We're probably going to draft him pretty late if we do draft him. But hey, maybe he'll prove me wrong and he'll go crazy in the NFL. But I just wanted to add that in there, that I gave him a title earlier saying that he was a top edge rusher, but he's really, I just don't want to give him that yet. I just think he's pretty mediocre. He's kind of, you know, he's been in college since 2018. Yeah, they had a 2020 year with COVID, but he's been in college like, what, 6 years? It has been 6 years. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see how he develops, how he comes out as a player. But I just wanted to say that. But that's why I said that this is kind of like a fill-in spot if we trade Brian Burns, because I'm kind of iffy about him. I'm kind of like undecided with him. So I just put him in here if we trade Brian Burns just to fill in that Brian Burns spot, because he can make the plays. He can be a player, but I just don't see him as a star player yet. I mean, he might be able to prove me wrong, you know. But I just wanted to put that in there. And before I end this video, I just want to say this, that all of these people I've named obviously have flaws. They obviously have negatives to them. But I just want to focus on the positives about these guys and focus on what they can bring to our team and focus on just how good I think these guys could be with us, how good they can make Bryce Young, how good they can make the defense, how good they can make the offensive line, you know? I don't want to sit here and just, this video is not to bash the people. This video is to bring positive to people. I know I kind of went crazy on Xavier Thomas talking about I thought he's mediocre. He's a good player, you know? He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. A team could use him well if we don't draft him, and we could use him well. But the whole point of this video is just, this is who I think we should take. This is who I think, or this is who I like. You know, this is who the players that I've seen that I'm like, all right, he can help Bryce Young on the passing. All right, he can help Bryce Young with blocking. All right, he can help our defense. You know, this is my opinions. I just want to put that out there so y'all don't go in the comments saying I said the same thing about people, saying that all I do is talk good about people and they're not this good, because they obviously have negatives. They obviously have flaws. They're not the best players in the world. Every single person I've named on here has numerous flaws in them. But those are the people that I think fit our scheme. You know, those are the schemes that I think will fit us perfectly. And I just want to put that out there one more time. And again, thank y'all for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.